Okay, I did come back to the model table last night and I did do some videoing, but it's not anything I'm going to be bothering to show you. What I was doing was I was testing out different settings in my camera to see how it would handle, or maybe how my computer would handle the different types of qualities, you might say, of video. We've been shooting at, and are right at this moment, shooting at 4K 60 frames a second at 8-bit. Now I can jump it up to 10-bit, and in editing you can maybe adjust color a little better and stuff like that if you've shot at 10-bit. And I wanted to see, will my program handle it? And of course we got the 8K at different settings as well. And the last one I checked out there was, well, what I was doing was I was just shooting one minute, or 59-second, actually it turned out, 59-second shots of the clock, and then I would just, you know, see how much how many megabytes, you might say, of data that 59 seconds was. I wanted to, in other words, how much can I get on my hard drive of different types, and that sort of thing. Anyway, a lot of techno babble here that you don't need to know. Now I got a comment from our friend UK Jason again, and he's been commenting a lot lately, and he reminded me about the sprue pen. Now, just hang on a sec here. I have to be careful where I reach here that my sleeves don't catch on anything, because our hood is the same way as it was before. Now, we were going to make a sprue pen, and I was saving all this plastic and even some photo etch. And the idea is I would take my two-part epoxy and mix them together. And I don't know if I'm going to leave it clear, or if I'll use white or black. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Well, it would have to be something that the sprue would, show up in. I think this light sprue would probably show up against black. It would also be good with if it was clear, you'd see right through it. And I've turned a lot of pens, and I actually got pretty good at it. Now this one here, I don't know if you can be able to see it. It's actually a two-part. It's part wood, and it's part acrylic that I dyed blue. I also have blue dye. Now, these bottles here, you know the paint shaker that you see me use? Well, that paint shaker was originally made to shake these. And then when I started realizing it would work good on the little Tamiya paint jars, I did that too. Anyway, let's recompose here, and maybe we'll mix up a couple of we'll mix up a little bit of clear and let it Ron, have some coffee here. You can't even think. Okay, now speaking of propellers, I think this was one of the extra ones from the Bismarck, and I just painted it anyway. But there was something that I wanted to mention, and I forgot when we were putting the propellers on our hood here. And that was that these metal propellers, in my opinion, are a lot nicer than the plastic ones. Are these the plastic ones from the hood? They must be, because there's 4 of them. Anyway, yeah, I think they're nicer. So, thank you, Tony. If you remember, about a year ago, Tony sent us the Trumpeter's metal propellers, and they do seem to be a little bit more realistic. So, yeah, thanks, Tony. I just didn't want to be some sort of an ingrate here. All right. So, what am I doing here? Let's make a bunch of little pieces here. At least that's the plan. Okay, I think you get the idea. I don't know if I'll maybe cut them a little smaller than that. Maybe we'll have a combination of small ones and long ones, and the idea is to mix these in the acrylic. I think I'll just mix up a batch of clear. I'm not going to mix the a pigment in it, because then in order to be able to see these things, you're going to have to turn it and have the well, like right here, you know, when you turn the pen, you'll be able to see the acrylic part. Once again, I'm not making any sense, am I? Okay, let's reorganize here and get at this. Okay, I've cut up a few more of these pieces. Now I'm noticing that one of them, I think it's the part A, I think this might be the hardener, but I'm not sure. It is darkening, getting a sort of an amber look to it. So this is not going to be as see-through as it was when I first bought this. It was probably, I guess, 4 years ago when I bought this stuff. And it was a lot more clear than that from what I remember. Now what I've done is I've taken this plastic disposable cup and I've sprayed the inside with mold release. And we'll use this as a mold. This is not what we will be using when we actually make our pen blank. Now a pen blank, these are pen blanks. These are ones that I bought from an outfit here in Canada called William Woodwright, and they are probably one of Canada's best suppliers for pen parts and blanks and all that kind of stuff. But almost all my, well, recently anyway, the pen kits I bought from them. No, Lee Valley also sells this kind of stuff. So what we're going to do here is we've got our equal parts by volume of the acrylic. I'm going to mix them up in here, and I'm just going to speed everything up if I can, if my laptop will handle it. Now, as I mentioned, we will be cutting up a lot more of this plastic when we do the real thing, you know, and I'm pretty sure we're going to actually do this. Now, those of you who have worked with 5-minute epoxy or something like that, if you get this on your fingers, it's kind of hard to wash off. I think acetone takes it off okay. Alright, that's garbage. Now, normally what I would do, you will notice that there's a lot of bubbles in there. Now normally what I would do is I would take and I would put this whole thing in a vacuum chamber, and I would put it under vacuum, which would in turn expand the bubbles, which would come to the surface, and then when the atmospheric pressure comes back on, any bubbles that are left there are going to be so small you can't even see them inside the acrylic. And the vacuum system actually really works. I've done it many times. I'm not going to do it now, but we will do it when we make our pen. Maybe if I remember, in the description to today's video, I'll put a link to when I did this for the first time. I think I went into detail about vacuuming and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the best I remember I did anyway. It was 4 or 5 years ago now. So, okay, let's just let that cure. I'm not gonna stir it because I did spray the inside of this with mold release. And if I stir it now inside there, I'm going to be scraping the mold release off the side. So I'm just going to leave it sit like this, and possibly by the end of today, we'll be able to break it out of here, if you know what I mean. Hopefully. What do we got here? 10:30. I should be out snow blowing a path to the bird feeder so I can get carrots on the carrot pad. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff I should be doing today. I don't know how much I'm going to actually be working on the hood. I haven't done laundry for a while. I should do laundry today too. Anyway, I'm giving you all my personal information here that you don't need to know. So let's just check this out at the end of the day, probably around 2 o'clock. It starts to harden in about, from what I remember, about 90 minutes or so. It's getting kind of hard. You know, right now it's still going to be fairly fluid. So anyway, let's move on. Let's see if we can't do something on our hood. Now I know that it would probably be a lot easier to paint our rudder scratches when it's up in the air. Alright, very gently here now. Okay, straight down and watch the stern. Okay. Now I know that this one here, it goes right here. Now this one here, ooh, gotta be careful. Got those little tiny things there. It's got the corners chopped off for some reason. It's I think it goes on the stern somewhere, and then one of these others goes on the bow. So that must mean then that there's only one left. So it's got to go on the stern. I think that this is probably going to be the last time we put these on. I can't see any reason why we're going to have to take them off. Well, it's not going to fall out of there. You know what? Maybe this isn't down all the way. Yeah, because I don't think this barrel should be resting on this gun sight here, rangefinder. There, that's better. Yeah, that looks better. Now I don't know if I'm going to be having them aimed off to the side or not. It has been suggested that maybe they should be a little bit to starboard, because I think that's the angle that they were at when they were shooting at the Bismarck. I don't know. I don't know. I'll wait. I'll think about it. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of comments. Okay, let's get the ones on the back. I mean the stern. Now, the thinking was, I think one of the viewers suggested that the reason that these were cut off is so that when the turret swung, the rangefinder would not catch on the superstructure. Let's just see if that makes any sense. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so that's that one. And then, of course, the other one, it wouldn't matter. It's catching on this thing. I almost broke it off. Yeah, that would have been too bad, especially with the camera running. Okay, let's straighten this one out. You know, I'm noticing now that these antennas, these were the homemade ones. Remember, I didn't use the photo etch ones. I think we used wire. And you notice here it's a little bit on the tall side, so I'm gonna have to remember that. I don't think I'll shorten them. I think I'll just leave it the way it is. And this one here looks like it's a little bit crooked. Oh, I'm sure that by the time I get some rigging going on here and there, I'm going to have bent them over anyway. No, don't be so negative, Ron. You're going to be careful, right? Yeah, I'm going to be careful. Sure. Okay. I'm kind of excited here. That looks pretty nice. Now, I just went through all my little parts that I had saved. Well, there isn't any to put on at the end that we were saving for last because we didn't want to accidentally break them off while we're doing the rest of the assembly. And I think we have everything. I can't think of anything. I don't see anything in the boxes that are on the other side of the table here. I really do believe that at this moment we are actually ready to start running line. Now, and I think that the best way to start is to start running line that is on the inside and down, and just start working out and up. For instance, there is one place that is going to be really hard to get at. I can zoom in on it a little bit here and show you. Let me turn the other light on. Okay, I hope that's going to be better. Now, if you will notice, I'm going to be very, very hard not to bend it now, but there's a little antenna thingy coming up out of this that I do believe had a line fastened to it. I think that was part of the radio transmitter, I think. And now I'll have to try and figure out exactly where did it go. You know, did it come out to the side, or did it go straight up to something, or I can't see it going straight back because straight back is the mast here. So it probably went, it maybe fastened to the side of this superstructure here. Well, we'll check it out. I'm sure I'll be able to find a drawing somewhere that shows where the line went off that. It could be that Stefan Drambinski's CGI drawing might show that. We could check that out. Yeah. Okay, it's getting on this afternoon here, and my laptop has slowed down again. It's still rendering the last stuff I did almost 2 hours ago. Yeah, well, maybe we should check out our epoxy. Now, this stuff does feel a little bit warm still. It does have a tendency to heat up when it cures. I think probably to a certain degree CA glue does too. I don't know. I've never really checked it, but I suppose there is a way. Let's check it out here. I'll zoom in. I don't know. Maybe it is ready to come out. Let's see what we can do. Okay, where's my knife here? Didn't go quite far enough here. All right. That felt a little bit sticky. Okay, now I think I would just go down the side here so we can spread it out. Maybe I should zoom in. I'm just going to reposition here. Okay, now remember, Ron, keep it over that little black dot. Otherwise it's going to wander out of the scene. I don't want to cut myself either. This is not releasing as well as I thought it should. It's maybe I didn't use enough mold release. You know, this is basically hard, but it's not letting go here. Maybe oh, there we go. I was just trying to peel it in the wrong place, that's all. Now, is it really that important that I do this on camera? Yes, it is. I hear Missy barking out there. Missy's master recorded Missy singing at Christmas time. And it was actually kind of interesting. I should ask him if they can have permission to show it to you. Now, how could something so simple have been so hard? Okay. All right, I think that this is going to work really good. I can see, though, that what we're going to have to do is make sure that the concentration of the little parts is as compact as possible. So in other words, I don't think I'd want to have the parts well, they're about the right size. It's just that they're not concentrated. You can see there that the orange ones, I guess, were heavy and they settled to the bottom. There's no orange ones on the top. So that's interesting. And all the others were obviously lighter than this solution, than this acrylic. But it's not coming off on my fingers. I know you can't feel it, but it's if I go like this, it feels a little bit sticky right on the sharp edge there. But okay. Anyway, I think it's going to work out good. I'm encouraged. Well, I knew it would because I've done this sort of thing several times before. Oh, and by the way, I am going to put the links to the first time that I actually used this stuff and used the vacuum chamber and what have you. And at least I think I used the vacuum chamber. Yeah. Okay. Coffee's gone. And sort of in a way the time has gone too. I don't want to risk not getting my episode out on time today. I'm going to call it quits for today's episode, and all being well, we'll be working on the easy line tomorrow. And I guess we'll probably start right in here at that difficult spot. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow. Oh, and don't forget, check out the links at the bottom of today's description.